Hey guys, today we're going to be changing out the emergency brake pads on the rear of my wife's Jeep Grand Cherokee. As you can see, they are disintegrated. They fell apart. This one, there's nothing left. This one's just got a little bit left, so definitely need to change them bad boys out. These pads are identical. All four are the exact same, so all we have to do is remove the old ones and put the new ones on. There's no concern if left, right, front, rear pad. It's all the same, so you don't have to worry about that, which is a good thing. Let's get these things apart and change them out. First off, I'm going to take a pair of needle nose. I've never done this, so don't, if you're a professional, don't criticize me too much. But I can see that that spring needs to come off, and it just did. So we've got that out of the way. We have a retaining clip on each side of the brake pads, one for each one. And this pin sticks through this little clip. You have to push the clip down and slide it that direction to get this pin to slip through that hole, and then we can pull the pad off. So let's get a hold of that bad boy. There it goes. I didn't mean for it to all fall that quick, but it did. So on these brake shoes, we have this adjuster. The adjuster was right here. It poked into the other one the same way on the opposite side. And then this little part here that turns, there's a rubber little plug. You pull it out, you stick a screwdriver through the back of there, and you can adjust this nut on here to adjust how far out these brakes are, so that you can make them not tight, but as close as you need or as loose as you need to make them where they don't drag while you're driving. And then when you pull the brake, obviously it pulls them tight. So let's change these bad boys out. So let's get this retaining clip off the opposite side. See if I'll do it a little easier. There we go. Keep that clip over there. Pull this shoe out. Note how that spring was in there, just in there like that. So let's get these new shoes and reassemble this thing. So first off, we're going to put this spring back where it goes, just because it might not be easy to get up in there and put it in. Whoops. And next, this retaining clip and this pin. So we have to reach back behind this pin and push it and hold it in the hole in order to get this clip back on there. Then you'll compress it, and you'll try and get that pin to come through that hole and then pop down into here where that thing holds. And I'll basically take it out and show you. So this is going to have to go through there, and you have to slide that up, and then it'll spring back out, and it'll be trapped in there. It can't come out. So we're going to have to collapse it in order to get it to do that, and then slide it downhill. Put the pin back in the hole. Let's get our brake shoe. We've got this spring in it already, and the other spring could be on there. Let's hang it on there too. Nope, down there. Okay, so the other second spring goes on the bottom hole. Now let's take this brake pad, slide it up here, up over that pin. It goes into this slot right up here. Get that pin out here where we can get to it. Now put this clip on, push it in, slide it up. Nothing to it. Much easier than I thought it would be. Let's see how the other side goes. Other side, and I guess you see it's got a notch with two shoulders here and just one here. This goes at the top, the double part goes at the bottom. So we'll repeat that process again. The adjuster needs to be in there this direction. This is on the driver's side, and pay attention when you take it apart. But on the driver's side, this goes towards the front, and I'm sure it would be the same on the passengers. So this goes towards the front of the vehicle. Actually, it's going to be easier to put that in after we mount the shoe. So let's get this shoe up here. Where's my pin location? Now that pin's going to be hard for me to get to. There we go. I got to stick my pinky finger in that hole right there. So this hole right here is where this pin is located. So I'm going to reach in and push that pin and get it straight where I need it. I'm going to put my brake pad up here in place over top of that pin. Hold it with my thumb. I got big hands. You might have a little time if you got little hands. Take my clip, and it's a little bit tight getting in here. Let me slide that out. Okay, so you can move these around and make it easier to put this on. Now I got to compress it, slide it up, and we're on there. So, spring's in my way. Slide that pad up. And there we go. There's a shoulder out there on this plate on the back, and you can see that shoulder. These brake pads go up inside of that. So now, let's put this top spring back. Get a hold of this bad boy. Let's see if I can pull it out there. And it's going in the hole. I need something to push it. Big screwdriver. Go in that hole. Go in that hole. And there it goes. It's in. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Looks like we're in there. This pad's low a little bit. Right there we go. All right. It's in there. Kind of bump it around. Again, you got this to go by, this little shoulder right here. And the pads are going to be inside of that. So get everything lined up, squared up. Now this has got to go in there. Okay guys, here's your adjuster. If you notice when you spin this, I got this between my fingers just like it'd be between these pads, and it's locked in. It can't, these things can't turn because they're locked in these grooves into the brake pad. So if you turn this direction, as you can see, that bolt is getting further out. The further out that bolt runs, you see the gold moving that way? The further out that runs, the further it pushes them pads out until they lock down on that brake drum, and no emergency brake or emergency brake pulled, it doesn't matter, it'd lock them down. So then you'd have to back that off until it moves freely again, and that's what I'm doing when I'm adjusting them. I'm tightening it up. When it's tight, I can't move the tire, then I start backing it off until that tire moves freely. I go a few more turns and then go pull your emergency brake. If it's working, you're good to go. So if you have to pull it all the way to the very top without any stress, then you know you need them a little tighter. If it's halfway up and starts getting really tight, then I would say you're good to go. You know, I don't know the exact rule, but that's working for me. So anyway, right now I'm going to loosen this one up and put it on this car. So you just have to spread the pads out. I've got the top spring in, that holds everything together up there. I've got these clips to hold the shoes to the brake system. I've spread this out. I got to get this back up in there. And so now I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to flip these back into position. Line those little slots up. And we should be good to go. Now to replace this other spring. Let's see if I can accomplish that. Okay. Looks like it's, you know, equal design there on each end. So you just hook it into that hole there. And now we got to get it in the other hole. Where's my pliers at? Right there. Let's get this in the other hole. Okay, we're on there. So that spring is in, and it's up against that adjuster there that adjusts the distance these pads are open. I don't like the way that looks, but that's the way it goes. So that's the way we'll put it back. So we've got our shoes on. We've got this spring installed. Make sure the wise thing to do, and I didn't do it, but I knew what to do. I already looked it over good, and I've done brakes in the past, so I'm pretty familiar with what's going on. Take your cell phone out. Take a picture of this spring. Take a picture of how this fits. Take a picture of how this clip is in here. Let me get that thing back over to the side a little bit. There we go. Take a picture of how that's in there. Take a picture of how the brake adjusting bolt on the bottom of here is. Take a picture of how this other spring's installed. Just make sure that you know how everything goes back, so when you go to put it back, you can look at your picture and say, ooh, that doesn't look right, or hey, that's right the way it was. So, good idea to take some pictures with your cell phone. Alright, so let's put this rotor back on. Right now I adjusted the adjuster so that these brakes will be loose. It extends or contracts. I contracted it so that I'm sure these are loose. I'm going to install this, get the other side changed over. We're going to pull the emergency brake, see if it grabs. If you want to see how to reassemble the rest of this and get the tire back on it, I mean, that's probably something you would know by now if you've gotten this far with it. But we're going to go ahead and show you that in the video that's linked in the description below. So for now, I'm going to throw this back together, and then we're going to show you how we adjust this brake. Okay guys, we've got this thing sitting on this jack stand. That jack stand's there ready to catch it if it falls. That jack is holding that side up. This is not the safest situation in the world. We're only, I mean, just an inch or less off the ground on this side. We're almost an inch over there. It's not going to fall far if it falls, and we've got these jack stands. I feel comfortable. You have to determine, is this safe for you? So, you know, don't do what I'm doing. If you don't think it's safe, don't do it. But anyway, we had to get it off the ground in order to adjust the emergency brake on this thing, because you need to be able to turn this tire. So if you watch that tire, when I spin this one, that one spins. If I don't get it off the ground, I can't spin them. I can't adjust this brake. Okay, so that adjuster that was in there for the emergency brake pads, you have to pull this boot out. I'm gonna wedge it out of there the best I can. Wait a minute, let me get needle nose. See if I can't grab it and wedge it at the same time. There we go. I'm just getting a light grab. You don't want to tear the boot, it'll leak. You don't want water getting in there. Now, in that hole is the adjuster. So as you can see, just above my screwdriver is where that adjustment nut is. And the more you turn that nut, one way is going to spread those brake shoes out until they lock that rotor and it won't even turn. And that's what we're doing. We're going to get where it starts dragging, and then we're going to back off to where it's going free and doesn't drag. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side and then try the emergency brake. If it works and it's not dragging, we're good to go. We're going to take an adjuster. If I push it up, it's going to be tightening that in this direction. It's going to open that adjuster out, forcing those brake shoes into the drum. So we want to push them until they're getting snug and then back off to where they're loose. We want to be close, but we don't want to be too tight that it won't turn, or that they're dragging or they'd wear out really fast. Again, they do make a tool that goes in here and it'd be a little easier to do this. I don't have it. Okay guys, there's a nut. I turned it upward until those shoes are expanded out as much as they can be until they're hitting that drum, the inside of that rotor, and now the tire will not budge. So now I need to loosen it up. I'm going to go downward with it and spin that nut around. So I'm just going up in here, laying the screwdriver down by the tire and tipping it up. You see this thing turning?
Yep.
Okay, it's starting to turn. I don't know how much I would need to loosen it, but I'm going to take it off a little more. If we pull that emergency brake and it's grabbing and it's halfway up, say, or so, then I know that, you know, we got enough to grab, and I've loosened it here enough, hopefully, that it's not dragging. So it's turning really easy now. We'll give it another turn or two. Let's leave it like that for now. Put that back in there just so we don't lose it. Okay, I pulled the emergency brake and it will not budge. So we're good. I think that's good. Well, all right, we got the emergency brake shoes changed out, and it looks like this thing's going to work out. If you need to do the other side, which I would definitely do it, just follow the same procedure on the other side and you're good to go. If you like what you see, give us a big thumbs up and have a good day.